Hey everybody, Jason with Jay's Garage here. Today I'm going to be working on my parents' Ford Escape. We have the Integra here. As you can see, the Civic's gone. It's currently at a buddy's shop getting some secret sauce put to it. I'll be revealing that probably tomorrow or later on this week. It's definitely a big change for sure. I'm excited to see it when it's done. And gonna get some of the Ford Escape here. I'm going to be doing sway bar links and outer tie rods. I've already started here, but the lug nut should be a 19. It's pretty much a universal size. Your lower tie rod bolt here, that's going to be a 19 as well. It's going to have a Carter pin in it. And for the sway bar links here, should be two 14mm bolts. And you're going to need a 14mm wrench. You can't really fit a socket into the bottom one down here. So I've just been using my Mac 14-inch or 14mm ratcheting wrench, and it's pretty simple with something like that. You just want to take the bolts out, pull the links out, and put the new ones in. Pretty straightforward. And I'll cut to the next clip. So I fought with it a little bit to get it to go in. I had to pry the sway bar down in order to get the bottom through, and I just kind of had to work the top into the strut housing here. It's gonna be a pain, or at least it was for me, but it's definitely doable. You just pretty much got to work it out. It also helps if you grab you an Allen, you can stick that into the head of the bolt and keep it from spinning. There's also take an Allen head and put it in here. There's a 17mm bolt here as well. Kind of helps you just prevent the stud from moving, so you can pull it out and unthread the original bolt. And that kind of helps out a little bit. It is a T30. I don't know if it's going to focus in it. Oh yeah, it's a T30. And that just kind of sticks into the head of the bolt just like this, so you can spin it around, hold on to the bolt. That's a 17mm on the back of that. Like I said, you need a pry bar to pry on the sway bar to get the bottom in, and you just got to pretty much work the top in. And that should be a 14mm bolt that replaces the previous 14mm. And I'll get that tightened up and come back. Alright, I've got the bottom one tight there, working on the top one. And this is Detroit Axles parts, just like I did with the Civic. I'm rebuilding the front end of my mom's Ford Escape as well. So far it seems to be pretty decent stuff. I've had it on my Civic now for about a month or two, and it hasn't given me any issues, but we're going to try it on the Ford Escape, something that weighs a little more. And as you can see, it actually gets used, so hopefully it'll hold up. But yep, that's a 14 on the sway bar links. Hopefully I can fit the ratchet. There we go. 14mm. Tighten those down real good. And this is what I mean by you'll need the T10. You see how the whole stud's moving. I mean, not T10, sorry, T30. So you just kind of put that in there, and you can kind of go against it. See how it spins the whole thing. Put this in there, go against your ratchet, and you'll be able to tighten it down. Alright, using the T30, I was able to get it tight. Like I said, it just goes into the tip of the bolt there. It's got a design to fit an Allen. I didn't have any Allens, so I used a T30, which is right here. So that fit in there just well. Put that in there. 14mm bolt. I use my Mac ratcheting wrench, not adjustable. And same for the bottom down here. It has grease fittings already, so I can grease the little ball joints there. And then I will also be doing the outer tie rod. I just use an adjustable to break loose tie rod lock nut, and it's a 19mm down here with the Carter pin. And pretty much I just use my snap-on dikes to get out the Carter pin, my adjustable to break it loose, and 1921 flip socket for lug nuts and lower ball joint for the tie rod. Alright, I can't stress this enough. When you take off the outer tie rod, count how many turns you turn it to get it off, because this messing with the outer tie rod or inner tie rod, that's going to mess with your toe adjustment on your alignment. So essentially, you want your wheel straight, but if you mess with your toe adjustment, it's going to kick it out this way, or it could kick it in this way, and it could really weigh your tires down. Toe is one of the most killers of tires. But I'll kind of show you how to count the threads on it when I take mine off, and just make sure you count the threads. You're most likely going to need an alignment afterwards. At least I'd recommend one either way, just so you know it's good and it's not going to eat your tires up. I meant by counting your threads, as you can see, I've got it out of the hub. So let's say this is your starting point. Spin it around one complete time, that's one. Spin it around another complete time, that's two. And you're going to do that all the way until it gets off, and you're going to want to keep up with how many threads you take off so you can screw your new one on the exact same amount of threads. In my case, it was 27 turns to get it off. I always want to compare old parts with new parts, make sure they're the same. Also, you want to check and make sure it comes with hardware. You can see this comes with a grease fitting and a new carpet. When threading back on, you want to do the same thing. Start, same position. It might be a little difficult to do with one-handed. And you're going to do it like this. 1, 2, and just like that. Every time it goes back down to like it would sit in the hub would be one complete turn. Looks similar to this. Sway bar link's good and tight. Outer tie rod's installed. Still need to install the grease fitting. It's nice and tight with a neatly bent carter pin. Not going anywhere. Still need to tighten the jam nut, but I wanted to make sure I had the tie rod installed before you tighten the jam nut. And should look about like this. Alright, you're going to want to shoot these down in a star pattern. As you can see, my power is not all the way up. You don't want to over torque them. And speaking of torque, this Ford Escape will be torquing at 100 foot-pounds of torque. The passenger side, 14mm. Break them free, pull them out. Like I said, you may need to use the 17 onto this nut here and hold it, and take your T30 inside the actual bolt and keep it from spinning. But mine came off pretty easy so far, so hopefully I won't have to do that. This bottom bolt's about to come out now. Or nut, sorry. Now I should be able to just remove the sway bar link and swap it up. What I ended up doing for this side is exactly like I mentioned. I took my T30 and put in there and used my 17 to hold this, and it was kind of sitting in here pushed at a downward angle, so I kind of used my T30 and my 17mm wrench to kind of force it straight, and it just popped right on out, and I could just easily just pull the bottom one out. So you may need that because it was kind of wedged itself in there. It was under so much tension from the sway bar still being hooked up that it really wasn't coming out by hand without forcing it out, which is exactly what I did. Didn't damage any threads. Exactly fine. I'm about to throw the new one in. Pretty much the same way, just connect your bottom one onto the sway bar and your top one onto there. It's rather simple. The driver's side, this side's in, that side's in, just needs to be tightened down. And as once again, same with the driver's side. You're probably gonna need a hammer to free this up. Just hit it right here on the knuckle, and that should pop it out. You want to count your threads as you take it off and as you put it on, and make sure you reinstall your carter pin and your nut. And one thing I didn't mention with the sway bar links is I use a jack under the lower control arm to raise it up and relieve slack off the sway bar. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscription, and I'll continue to produce what content I can make with the vehicles I have, to try and explain the best I can as I fix them. I appreciate the support for anybody that's subscribed and likes the videos, and I'll continue to keep it up. Appreciate it. As I said before, I really appreciate anybody who supports the content. I've got more coming for the Integra. Still got to install my Skunk 2 manifold with a 70mm throttle body. The Civic is gone. As I said, it's getting a little secret project done to it. Should be back tomorrow, and then I'll reveal that. The Escape, I still got some couple parts to throw into that, so I'm gonna have a few tutorials going on, some reveals going on. If you want to see any of that, just leave a subscription and a like. If you're a personal friend, I have you on my Facebook. I'll be sharing the video to Facebook as soon as it drops. And just keep up with the videos, and I'll continue to produce more.